Good morning, everybody. This is Mike Brennan at the National Hurricane Center with your update on Tropical Storm Idalia. It's just after 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Monday, and what we have this morning is a strengthening tropical storm centered just to the south of the western tip of Cuba. Maximum sustained winds in Idalia right now are 65 miles per hour. The storm is moving off to the north at 8 miles per hour and is expected to intensify and approach the west coast of Florida as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday. And our biggest concern with Idalia is the storm surge risk along the west coast of Florida. We have a storm surge warning in effect from Inglewood all the way up through the Tampa Bay region, up through Chassahowiska, the Big Bend region, all the way to Ocklawahnee River. And this is an area that we're highlighting the danger of life-threatening inundation from storm surge. So the circulation of Idalia is going to push water from the Gulf of Mexico up into places like Charlotte Harbor, Tampa Bay, in the Big Bend region, where the storm surge is very, very sensitive here to that sort of onshore southwesterly and southerly flow with an approaching hurricane. We could see inundation values in Tampa Bay of 4 to 7 feet above ground level. That's in places like Clearwater, Pinellas County, and then up to the north into places like Anclote River, Chassahowiska, we could see 6 to 9 feet of inundation above ground level. So I'm 6 feet tall. That's water potentially 3 feet above my head. And then in this Big Bend region from Chassahowiska to Wasilla River, we are expecting to see somewhere in that area inundation of 7 to 11 feet above ground level. So these are areas you do not want to be in. If you've been asked to evacuate by your local officials, please heed that advice. Everywhere you see in this dark purple color is under a storm surge warning that's just been issued here this morning. This is the most dire warning we can issue in terms of water threats from a tropical storm or hurricane. And this is that area where everywhere in this purple area, you are at danger of life-threatening inundation from storm surge. We also have a storm surge watch extending downward into the Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples area, and then a storm surge watch that extends westward towards Indian Pass. Moving on to the wind threat. So we have a variety of wind watches and warnings. We just issued a hurricane warning for portions of the west coast of the Florida Peninsula, including the Tampa Bay region up through the Big Bend. This area, we're expecting hurricane conditions somewhere in that area beginning late Tuesday or early Wednesday. We have tropical storm warnings south down to the Fort Myers area and to the west over to through Indian Pass. We've also issued a tropical storm watch for the east coast of the Florida Peninsula from Sebastian Inlet up through Cape Canaveral, St. Augustine, Jacksonville, up into southeastern Georgia, as we are expecting tropical storm and hurricane conditions in these areas. And those warnings extend inland as well. Everywhere you see in red here is under a hurricane warning. That includes inland areas to the north and northwest of Tampa. We have a hurricane watch in north central Florida as Idalia is going to move across the state and bring the potential for significant inland wind impacts across much of the northern portions of the Florida Peninsula, and then extending up eventually along the southeast coast of the United States. So when are those winds going to arrive? So this is the chance of tropical storm force winds everywhere here in these dark orange, red, and purple colors. Tropical storm force winds are likely to occur at any given location. The most likely time that those tropical storm force winds are going to begin is along the west coast of Florida during the day on Tuesday, advancing northward with time into Tuesday evening, reaching the northeast coast of Florida Wednesday morning, and then stretching northeastward along the Carolinas as we go through the day Wednesday and into early Thursday. And here's the forecast track of Idalia. We're expecting a northward motion and then a north-northeastward turn and an increase in forward speed up to 15 to 20 miles per hour that's going to bring the center of Idalia onshore somewhere between Tampa Bay and the Big Bend region of Florida as we go from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Unfortunately, we are expecting Idalia to rapidly strengthen and become a hurricane later today and then intensify to a major hurricane before it makes landfall early Wednesday, and then move across the North Florida and near or along the coast of Georgia and South Carolina as we go from Wednesday into Thursday, bringing impacts into portions of the Carolinas later in the week. In terms of rainfall, we're expecting the potential for significant flash flooding everywhere you see here in red. That's places like Jacksonville, Savannah, Charleston, Wilmington, North Carolina, north central Florida, southeast Georgia, coastal South Carolina. We're expecting 4 to 8 inches of rainfall across this large area from North Florida, Tampa Bay region, just east of Tallahassee to Savannah, Charleston, and Wilmington. We could see isolated rainfall totals as high as 12 inches, especially in the area where the core of Idalia moves onshore overnight, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So I want to wrap up again by touching on the storm surge threat. Again, today is your day to prepare. We're here on Monday. Conditions are going to start to deteriorate on Tuesday. Get your hurricane supplies ready. Make sure you have your evacuation plan in place. If you're asked to evacuate, try to evacuate tens of miles, if not hundreds of miles, just to get out of that storm surge evacuation zone and get to a safe place. So this is Mike Brennan at the National Hurricane Center. Please stay tuned for more updates on Idalia throughout the day.